Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Rinkos. Mayor Ken Boshcoff has decided to pursue provincial strong mayor powers despite opposition from City Council. It happened at last night's meeting where Boshcoff confirmed he would be submitting the required documents to receive the powers, including a commitment to a provincial housing goal. City Hall reporter Vasilios Bellos is following the story and joins us live in studio. Vasilios?
Thanks, Mitch. The vote finished 9-4 against the strong mayor powers, though it was largely symbolic, with Boshcoff able to proceed as he wished. There were some harsh words against strong mayor powers, with some not seeing the connection to housing and others calling it destructive to local democracy. Strong opposition from many city councillors at Monday's meeting regarding provincial strong mayor powers wasn't enough to change Mayor Ken Boshcoff's direction.
See this as legislation that is quite destructive to local democracies.
The need for the strong mayor powers, so I will file the letters tomorrow.
Council voted 9-4 against Boshcoff pursuing strong mayor powers, though he didn't need their support to move ahead. In an interview after the meeting, Boshcoff confirmed he'd be submitting the required documents on Tuesday, which includes a commitment to see 2,200 new housing units built in the city by 2031, with provincial funding attached to achieving new builds. Some of the powers Boshcoff will receive include the ability to fire and hire the city manager, passing or vetoing bylaws with just 1/3 of council support, and proposing his own budget subject to council amendments.
How is firing a city manager going to build a house? How could someone with no background in finance present a $500 million budget, contribute to building a house?
Housing target is separate from the strong mayor's powers.
Councillor Brian Hamilton feared the vulnerability it puts on the office of the mayor, with outside groups now able to lobby just one person on council.
Potentially you could have, the loudest, player in the playground, basically running the city. And to me, that's very, very frightening.
Those who supported strong mayor powers include councillors Aiello, Agarwal, and Gertuga. Agarwal stressed the importance of strong mayor powers, believing if the city could have solved the housing crisis by itself, it would have done so by now.
We need to do whatever we can, or we're going to have more people on the streets, more people in tents. Housing prices are not based on anything other than supply and demand. And some of our rents are outrageous only because there's no supply.
I just expected more from council.
As for the mayor, Boshcoff stated after the meeting he was surprised with how the vote turned out. Boshcoff still believes a strong mayor system is crucial if the city wants to keep up with housing for the expected mining boom.
We want to send a signal that we want to be the mining capital and that we want those families to stay here. So why council would be opposed to that, I don't get it. It's a democratic process, and so at least I have some alternatives.
Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Thunder Bay's city manager addressed the local business community today at a leaders' luncheon hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. The discussions focused on strong mayor powers, growth in the city, and the 2024 tax levy hike. A number of business leaders were in attendance to hear from Norm Gale, with an opportunity for them to pose questions as well. Gale spoke about some of the key priorities within the city of Thunder Bay and how they relate to the local business community. The proposed 5.5% tax levy hike for next year was a strong focus. Chamber President Charlotte Robinson says the business community isn't happy with that increase, but has faith the city will work towards something more palatable for the community.
We expect them to be looking for ways to reduce that tax levy increase because it does have an influence on businesses staying here, businesses coming here. It's one of the factors that businesses consider if they're looking at a potential relocation or opening a business.
We're going to do everything we can to deliver a responsible proposed budget to City Council for them to make their determinations. But taxation pressures are real on everybody, not limited to the business community.
Both Robinson and Gale say conversations will continue between the city and business community leading up to the 2024 budget season. The Thunder Bay Police Board officially has a full complement of members as 2 new people were sworn in today. Also on the agenda was an update on police spending as the second quarter variance reports show the service was $1.6 million over budget. Josh Morano reports.
The Thunder Bay Police Board met at the Valhalla with plenty on the agenda, including appointing 2 new members. Wayne Belita, who served on the police board from 2003 to 2010, is back for a 1-year term as a provincial appointee, and City Councillor Casey E. Trainee replaces former board member Shelby Chung, who resigned last week.
I think I can bring something to the board, some diversity to the board with my background in healthcare and policy and procedure. And I appreciate and understand that, Councillor Shelby Chung has some other commitments in the world of education. And so I was really excited to be able to get the opportunity to step into her position.
I'm back at the fold. It's always been an interest of mine, to support the community, support the officers, so I'm actually very pleased to be back.
With those appointments, the board is back to a full complement of 5 members for the first time since April of 2022. The second quarter budget variance report was also a topic of discussion. Thunder Bay Police Chief Darcy Fleury announced that they are $1.6 million over their $52 million budget at this point of the year. He explains that the negative variance won't affect the police force's impact on the community.
I don't think it has changed anything as far as where we do business. It does definitely put a lens onto where we're going to be asking this year as to where our budget's going to be. So I think that's something that in the next couple of months we have to put together properly and get it planned well and presented when budget time comes.
Meanwhile, the board itself is also over budget, but they deferred addressing their own variance report due to the new members still getting caught up. Both Belita and a trainee voted in favor of receiving more information about the financials at the board's next meeting in October. The police board also discussed changes to the way forensic autopsies are dealt with in Thunder Bay. We'll have that story on the Wednesday News Hour. Josh Morano, TPT News.
Thunder Bay drivers may want to avoid a section of Memorial Avenue this week. The busy route is getting new pavement, leading to lane closures and intermittent shutdowns over the next week or so. The work began this morning as crews began removing the old asphalt between Central Avenue and the Harbor Expressway. The project is being carried out in 4 phases, with the curbs and outside lanes being done today and tomorrow. And the inside center turning lanes will be closed for around 2 or 3 days as crews remove 2 layers of pavement and put down 1 layer of new asphalt. The final phase will take another 2 or 3 days, and we'll see complete closures of Memorial while final paving progresses. Motorists are asked to obey posted signage and drive with caution in the area. Provincial politicians of all stripes made a trek to the International Plowing Match, which is a celebration of agriculture and rural living and provides politicians with an opportunity to woo those communities. Siobhan Morris reports.
It's an annual celebration of farming, agriculture, and rural life. For provincial politicians, a chance to meet and greet in the fresh air. But the whiff of the Greenbelt scandal was all around. Progressive Conservatives tried to keep the mood light, the Premier smiling and waving to the crowd.
No one's done more for farmers than our party has. They appreciate what we do, and we have a great working relationship.
Reception for the Premier was mostly warm, though some people yelled out.
Get my Greenbelt back!
Losing Greenbelt lands drew out tears.
He's been doing so many things that haven't been good for the environment.
And anger.
How much of Ontario's farmland has been covered up, paved over, built on, and now we're doing more.
I'm not his friend if he goes through with it, that's all. I mean, how can you run a world if you don't keep nature and you don't keep natural things around?
The Premier acknowledges the vital role farmers play.
People don't realize the billions and billions of dollars of ag products that get shipped out of our province.
This is typically a nonpartisan event, but opposition parties went there on the Greenbelt.
Those farmlands are at risk. And that's why your Ontario NDP is working so hard to protect your farmlands and your Greenbelt, right?
The interim Liberal leader says the elephant at the plowing match couldn't go unaddressed.
For the Premier to try to sugarcoat it, try not to talk about it, try not to address it, is wrong.
The Premier's response is simply that his government is returning some land to the Greenbelt, but more could be removed after a review of all 2 million acres is done. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The municipality of Nibing recently hosted a tour of local businesses, showing off the best of what the small rural community has to offer. Lee Noonan was along for the ride and files this report.
Nestled in the hills of the Nor'westers along winding country roads,
Passers-by aren't likely to just happen upon any of the roughly 30 businesses that are based in rural Nibing. Councillor Brian Kurikas says the municipality organized a bus tour to help get the word out about those businesses.
We don't have a downtown core. Everything is spread out. 874 square kilometers, 2.6 people per square kilometer. It's a different situation. Highway 61 is our main street. And most people just zoom right through to Minnesota.
Most of the businesses in Nibing are agricultural, artisanal, or food-related at the moment, and many are home-based. But the municipality is also hoping to encourage tourism-related businesses.
We're first-generation farmers that have deliberately chosen to do this, not just for the lifestyle, but because we really want to make sure that we have quality lamb and then quality wool in the local community.
I invite global visitors and local visitors to come and have an experience here. I'm happy to share the beauty of the region and happy to share the Anishinaabe cultural practices with anyone that would like.
Oh, bread is truly my passion. Every bread baker has its own real signature, and this format, this formula, I've really fallen in love with. I like the smells, the feeling. I love the dough. I love the whole process.
Kurikas says the municipality appreciates entrepreneurs who've made Nibing their homes, and they're committed to helping them succeed. And the business owners on the tour are also sharing the love for both the municipality and each other.
I really like supporting my community and the municipality because they do a lot for the community. And so it's a win-win for everybody. There's nothing but bush and mountains around here, but there's beautiful little businesses everywhere.
In addition to promoting local business, the municipality is also hoping the tour will help attract new business, showing that Nibing is a supportive place to set up shop. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The CLE Coliseum is hosting hundreds of students from grades 7 to 12 this week to get them interested in the skilled trades. The two-day Level Up Career Fair is organized by the Ontario Ministry of Labour, Training and Skills Development. Jonathan Wilson reports.
More than 1,500 students are expected to attend the Level Up Career Fair over its two-day run, as they get a hands-on experience trying things like picking up dirt using a mini excavator or building a toolbox with help from people in the sheet metal industry. Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program Coordinator Roger Durcher says the shortage of skilled trade workers in this region and around the country makes an event like this very important.
Well, Level Up is one of 10 stops, is the first stop in Thunder Bay. And so Level Up is, with the Ministry of Labour, has obviously trying to promote skilled trades to youth. There's a massive shortage of skilled trades.
The career fair welcomed busloads of students from both the Lakehead and Catholic school boards, along with the Matawa Education Centre and students from as far away as Kenora. Durcher says the first Level Up event last November showed them they needed to expand this to a two-day career fair, with evening sessions also available for parents and students to drop in. He says they have a good cross-section of the trades represented here.
Bricklayers, we have pipe fitters, there's hairdressing, there's culinary. So there's 144 different skilled trades, apprentice skilled trades in Ontario. So today we have about 45 exhibitors.
Durcher says they've already noticed an increase in students registering for technology classes following last year's Level Up event. We spoke with some of the students as they were wrapping up their session at the CLE Coliseum.
I learned a few things. There's like instructions, building, and all that, yeah. And digging, putting bricks together, yeah.
Did you see anything you want to do for a career?
I kind of want to be a builder now.
I like the crane one. I think I would do that as my future career. Like of all of them, I think that would be my favorite one to do.
It was all really fun. It was a bit overwhelming with everybody, but I don't know. There was like a few. Building bricks was fun to see who's the tallest tower, but I don't know what I want to do yet. I still have time.
How hard do you think it is for a grade 7 or 8 to know what they want to do with their life?
Well, it's a time of exploring. So it's a time just to start exploring and looking at the options and knowing what is possible.
The Level Up Career Fair continues on Wednesday from 9 until 4, followed by another evening session for anyone from grades 7 to 12. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.